Hey Soul family, welcome back to the channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we're taking a look at your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge, a guaranteed way to overcome it. And to do this reading, I will be pulling out 3 cards from this deck. If you of course prefer to pick your piles using your zodiac signs, you will find a timestamp to that down in the description box. Okay, so let's see what we have for your reading today. For pile number 1, you have Mermaid's Love. For pile number 2, you have Queen Bee. And for pile number 3, you have White Rose of Hope. If you prefer to pick your piles using your crystals, let me add these right now. There we go. So for pile number 1, you have the blue banded agate. For pile number 2, you have the tiger's eye. And for pile number 3, you have the Moonstone. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most drawn to, and this will be the pile for you here today. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, maybe even all of the piles, trust your intuition. It will always guide you and lead you to the right readings. It's okay to feel drawn to more than one pile. You might just get more messages that you're meant to hear in today's reading. And so follow your intuition wherever it's taking you, one pile, 2, all. It's really up to how you feel. And once you're ready, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I will see you in your readings. Please note that in a moment, I will be assigning different zodiac signs to each pile. And so if this is something that you do not prefer, please pause the video and take as much time as you need. But if you prefer to pick your piles using your signs, then my dear soul family, this part of the introduction was created specifically for you guys. And what I like to do is shuffle your signs really well. And then I will be drawing out 4 signs for each pile. Okay, so let's pull out the first 4 signs. For pile number 1, you have Libra, Capricorn, Gemini, as well as Pisces. For pile number 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the signs are Aries, Leo, Aquarius, as well as Virgo. And for pile number 3, the signs are Sagittarius, Taurus, Cancer, as well as Scorpio. So, my dear soul family, these are the zodiac signs and their association to each of the piles in today's reading. Please feel free to pick your pile or piles using your sun, moon, or rising. I highly recommend you check out the 3. Alternatively, if you prefer to pick a pile using other placements in your charts is the word I'm looking for, feel free to do that as well, or only. It's really all up to you how you pick your piles. Your way, what resonates with you, is the right way. And once you're ready, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I will see you in your readings. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Today, we're taking a look at your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge. We're taking a look at a guaranteed way to overcome it. These are the decks that I will be using in your reading today. If you're interested in knowing the names of any of them, I always list them down in the description box for you guys. But very quickly, let me introduce your pile to you. Your crystal is the beautiful blue banded agate. Your significator card is the mermaid's love. And if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, the signs for this pile are Libra, Capricorn, Gemini, and Pisces. Welcome to your reading. If these are not your zodiac signs, as I always remind you, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles as well. Follow your intuition, and if after the reading you feel called to watching the pile with your sign, you can always do that. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. Although this is not an oracle card, this is a tarot card, but it has animals and botanical images that really give us perspective, a deeper perspective into our reading. So you've got the 3 of Wands with a camel here. Okay, I'll let you know more about this card in a moment. You've got the Earth sign, and Earth it is. The hexagram is, the I Ching hexagram is Earth. Earth, it's hexagram number 2, and it's Earth on Earth. Okay, you've got caregiver. And you've got mentor. Okay. You also have the card Uncovering Treasure, and it says beneath the surface lies great bounty. Okay, let's now take a look at your tarot cards so that we get a full perspective of what your higher self's message is in today's reading about how to overcome your biggest challenge. Oh, okay, I'll take this here, and this one, these, as well as these, and also this one. Right, so let's check out your tarot cards for your reading today. You've got the 3 of Pentacles. Weird. With the 3 of Pentacles, I heard work with what you got. Don't know why, but it's something I definitely heard in my mind's ear. Work with what you got. Right, you've got the 8 of Swords. The Ace of Wands. the Hermit. The Seven of Cups. The Eight of Wands. And we can fit one more card. Actually, it looks like we're supposed to take that one for now. And you've got the Five of Wands. Let's stop there and inspect the message. And then, like sort of understand what's your biggest challenge and start to get an understanding and a grasp of your higher self's guidance. So, what is your biggest challenge? I would say with the Earth, you want something, a resource. You want a resource. Yeah, I think you want a resource. There's something that you want to get. Am I right about that? I think I am. Yeah, beneath the surface lies great bounty. Yeah, you want to get something, but at the moment it kind of feels like it's out of reach. And I see your higher self telling you that this specific challenge requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. And I think I'm starting to actually believe that you really want something. You know why? Because here it's mermaid's love. And you can see a mermaid falling in love with a human. Now, the thing is, the human can't live in the mermaid's environment. It can't breathe underwater. The mermaid can. So it looks like your higher self is saying you want something so much. And you're wishing for it. You're trying to achieve it. But with the camel, it looks like there's no way for you to get it. You know, the camel lives in a desert. Perhaps this is why I heard work with what you got. So maybe you are in a place where it's really hard, it's dry, you don't have much to work with. You've been patient and you've been in this place for a long time, regurgitating the same methods over and over, what you know, over and over and over. And maybe you're running out of patience or running out of ways to do it. But the only way, your higher self is saying, the only way you can be with what you love, what you so want to be, is to have the boldness to step outside of your comfort zone. Step outside of, specifically, there's something about stepping outside of your environment. Because perhaps your environment pushes you or encourages you to, in an automated way, to do what you usually do every day, this regurgitating. It's the environment you're in that is causing the same behavior, the same loop of feedback, the same actions over and the same satisfaction over and over. Your higher self is saying you need to genuinely step towards that which you love. That which you love may be at the moment intimidating, or you're not comfortable with it because it's a different environment than the one you're in, or that you don't know what to do because of the mentor here. Yes, you don't know what to do. Do you see how a younger man is genuinely caring for an older man? Now, this young man that is taking care of someone who's now not able to do something is wearing a purple shirt. This purple shirt is taking us to this figure right there who's teaching a younger child how to do something. And so if we follow your cards, your higher self is saying what you can't do now and what you've believed about yourself that you can't do and perhaps need others to do for you, you need help to do for you, is a misconception. And in order to take yourself out of this phase, you want to learn. Because opening your eyes to new ideas than the ones you're regurgitating over and over and believe it's your whole world is the reason you are in the environment that you're in today. A change of environment is a must, because in a different environment, you get to watch and learn. You get to learn maybe how others do it, or you get to apply the things that you're reading about. But there's more. This figure, the little child, doing the homework by himself. This is only a guide that is showing him, and it's up to the child to observe, learn, and apply. So this is just guidance. And so I'm getting a strong idea, depending on what your situation really is, what is your biggest challenge, there needs to be a change of environment. Because a change of environment will stop this perpetual cycle of you doing the same thing, getting the same results, and so staying in your place, staying in that place that is not offering much. And a change in environment, changing the environment, will move you towards what you love. But I can imagine this mermaid. You know how when the mermaid developed legs in the famous story, I can imagine it took time to build these muscles, right? To learn how to balance, to learn how to walk. I mean, even us, when we go to the sea for a couple of days and we come out, we lose our balance. It takes we still feel that sea movement, right? So it takes time to adapt to an environment. When we are first thrown at it, we feel like it's weird. That weirdness by time automatically goes away. So don't judge you coming out of your comfort zone or your environment as well, because that seems to be a big thing in your reading. Don't judge coming out of an environment at the first glance and how you initially feel, because that's judging a book by its cover. You might just find yourself doing way better than you think you can do. And that's what your cards here are saying. Work with what you've got in this new environment. Once you take yourself out of this comfort zone, work with what you got. And don't let your limiting beliefs stop you initially. You want to move past that initial impression that you get every time you try something, you feel awkward and you bring yourself out of it. You try something, you feel awkward, and all of the other skills that you're still lacking discourage you from taking that step. So you're this time encouraged to be okay with this discomfort and stay in place. It's okay. And start working with what you have. The more you put yourself in this situation and be okay with not getting it right, being okay with learning, getting the guidance and the feedback from this new environment, the more you will actually learn. Can a child say, I don't like this? I tried this math equation and it's just not working. Having a good mentor explain to the child calmly how this equation is done, observing and trying it out several times, makes a child understand the idea behind how this equation is solved, how this math concept, what this math concept is teaching. And so the child goes from I hate math to I love math. Just give me anything, I got this. It's the understanding that moves someone from hating something due to lack of skills to absolutely acing it. It's an uncomfortable stage, but with the Ace of Wands, your higher self is saying, you can absolutely ace that. Do you see the handle? You got this. You can do this. You got the power. You are able to handle this. But how are you going to know if you are not patient enough to allow this situation to teach you? And so do you want to stay the rest of your life in a place where others have to do this for you, or allowing something small to take care of that issue? Or do you want to go get what you deserve? Because it's all about you, and it's all about you being able to, but you will never know without staying stuck. I feel with the Eight of Swords, it's actually the opposite. We usually read it as what? Being stuck in place. Here, the Eight of Swords is telling you to be stuck, to not run from this, to stay there. It's uncomfortable. You were watching yourself maybe fail at it. Maybe you're embarrassed. Maybe you're getting all these types of emotions, which at the end of the day is rooted from your mind with the Eight of Swords. Your higher self is saying, you want a guaranteed way to take yourself out of this obstacle? Your guaranteed way is to stay right there when you're afraid. Stay right there when you're not doing it right. Stay right there and work with what you have. As you work with what you have, you will understand, just like this child. That I didn't do right. And if you come out with one tiny today, you're an extra more skilled the next day. And the more you get in a week's time, in a month time, 6 months time, you'll be much, much more skilled than where you started off. Now, imagine that over time, you become a master. You become illuminated. When you understand with the Hermit, you know how the Hermit is about working internally. So you grow, you learn, you understand, and you're not waiting for any outside circumstance to give this earthly thing to you, or for you to experience just a little bit of what you love. You become that person who's now able to go, what do I want in my life? Now suddenly the veil is removed and you get to look at all of the dreams you once had. Remember when I wanted this? I can do it now. Remember when I was daydreaming about or watching others do this and I couldn't? Or remember when I had this big dream when I wanted to do this, get this, be this, experience this, achieve this? Oh my God, I'm in a position to choose what I want. I'm in a position to envision and get it. I am in a position where I now get to experience this reality, because here I'm seeing this dog think, what do I want now? Now that I have this skill, now that I have these feet, what do I want? What do I really want? And so what used to be so slow, and due to the slowness, it seemed like you would never go there. Now you are the one who's running, because we've got a tortoise, and a tortoise, we know it moves slowly. Have you seen this tortoise on Instagram Reels whose owner placed a skateboard on, and now for the first time, the tortoise is able to move across the room in seconds. And I've seen this discussion in the comment section where people are like, that's wrong, that's not, it's against its nature, that's not how it was created. And then someone else said something logical. He said, well, we're not designed to fly, but we fly, don't we? So in any case, I'm seeing that you thought of yourself in one way because you believed you couldn't do something. And so your progress or movement towards it was super slow. Who knows if whether you, with this type of slowness, you would have achieved all of the things you wanted to experience or not. But now, with this skill that you decided to, because you decided to plant yourself in the situation, even though it's absolutely brutally uncomfortable, it seems here with the Eight of Swords, you started getting the learning. You started cooperating with others maybe, or you started doing what needs to happen, what you need to do. And you started like picking up on an experience here, picking up on a piece of information here, picking up on a skill here. And you're changing as a person. Your higher self is showing you. You will change as a person. And you'll be able to do two things. Dream and achieve your dreams in that area, and maybe even in many more areas that you didn't imagine would open up for you, that now you have the skill. And you will be able to face, what is it called? Head down? Face head on. You'll be able to face head on that which used to scare you in the past. That. So your higher self is saying, when it comes to your challenge, you are the challenge to the challenge. Because the Five of Wands is a card of competition. And so just as that was one day challenging to you, you will become so strong when it comes to that, these skills that you learn, just because you disciplined yourself to stay where you're most uncomfortable. You start becoming the challenge to the challenge. And I don't know how this resonates in your situation, because your higher self here is not focusing for me on the challenge itself. The only thing I'm picking up with the earth, that is something earthly that you want. I could be wrong, of course. It could be a card talking about how you want to ground yourself, stay in place to learn. But that's what I'm picking up. And so whatever that challenge is, your higher self is mostly focusing on a guaranteed way to overcome it. So something about your challenge being challenging to you, it will be so the past, to the point where you start being the challenge to the very challenge that used to challenge you. And so uncovering the treasure shows that you need a bit of digging, a bit of work. But that hard work that you're going to do is not for you going to lead to nothing or a big hole for no reason. Your hard work will give you, your higher self is showing you, the very treasure that you are looking for. It's there for you to receive it and for you to take it. The trick is to go to the other environment and sit there and be comfortable with the discomfort. Be comfortable with you being uncomfortable. So, another card. Let's see what this mysterious card here is trying to say. You've got the Knight of Pentacles. That makes a lot of sense. The Knight of Pentacles is steady action. Slow but steady action. It's like, I understand. This is saying that because the situation is uncomfortable, you might expect yourself to just learn. Like, learn it and get it over with already. I'm uncomfortable. And this is saying, your higher self is saying, realize that you'll be learning a tiny skill at a time. It's how it works in the beginning. You know how when we put children to the school, what do? We sing a song about the ABCs. We're not there in chemistry yet. We're introducing the numbers, and it's all like we're learning how to hold the pen. And so that child is not going to learn about chemistry now, right? So be comfortable with the fact that this is going to take time. But once you do these consistent steps, you become stronger. You know, it's exactly like muscles. You know how some people advise us to, in order to be consistent when it comes to exercise, it's better to do small exercises and be consistent with it every single day than to do big things and not be consistent every day or however times you're meant to do it or repeat it. Because not being consistent is a waste of time. Like you do 3 times, you skip once, you do 2 times, you skip 3, you do 6 times and you skip 1 or 2, and it's not consistent. While the person who's doing that exercise, even though it's small, they keep repeating it every day and they don't miss a day. It's small, but it's consistent. It's small, but it's consistent. Over time, it is that consistent person that will get strong muscles, and it is this consistent person who's doing all of this work who's not going to get the same strong muscles that this person is getting, because this person misses a lot and it makes a difference. And so what I'm seeing is it's okay to learn a small skill here, a small skill there. These will all add up for you, and they will teach you to become the person you want to become. Now, obviously, this reading is about the guaranteed way to overcome it. And if you want a guaranteed way, it's not about running in the beginning, because you will be running, my dear. This is momentum. This is saying it's not quick in the beginning. It takes time, because your brain at that time is like the swords, is grasping this concept on its own. How do you expect your brain to learn all of these things at the same time? It needs to learn about this physical movement, this mental idea, this communication, way to communicate, this knowledge that it just got. I'm just guessing. But in any case, I'm trying to show you that there are so many layers. It's exactly what I'm trying to say. There's so many layers to what you're trying to get at. And so each time you'll get a grasp on one layer, and then you improve that layer over time, and you get a grasp on another, and you improve that over time. It's going to take time, but that's in the beginning. Once your brain starts to grasp these different ideas and starts to, I would say, kind of get a grasp on it, things will start moving very quickly for you from then. It's mental training for you. It is mental training for you. Take the time for your brain to grasp it, because once it grasps it, my dear pile number 1, nobody can stop you. Nobody. It's like it becomes you. You are the person who's able to achieve this for yourself. You've got the Emperor. And that's what the Emperor is all about. Strength. And look at the Emperor inviting you. It's like your higher self is saying, go to your stronger you. Take the baby steps. Take it. One baby step after the other, you become strong, stable, and you become that person that is able to achieve everything that they want. Build that empire in your mind for yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of your cards. You've got the Page of Pentacles, and you've got the Knight of Swords. This is saying long-term gratification over short-term gratification. It's very clear. Your higher self is saying you may not do the hard work of being uncomfortable, because it's obviously brutal here with the Eight of Swords. But you will continue to get small efforts, small movements, small efforts. And do you want to spend the rest of your life with these small efforts up until you've grown into a ripe old age, into where you've wasted most of your years not getting what you deserve? Don't you deserve this? Don't you deserve to have what you want? And your higher self is saying, choose long-term gratification over short-term gratification. And while it's very tempting to stay comfortable, it doesn't take you to places. And you, pile number one, you want to go to places. You have something that you're so in love with, so passionate about, you really want to do. Follow that. Let it lead the way. You want it for a reason. It's part of your soul mission. And so choose the long-term gratification, and with the Knight of Swords, start taking action today. There must be small actions that you can start taking outside of your comfort zone. Small, consistent action will take you there. What small, consistent actions can you take today to take you to where you want to be is what your higher self is showing you here. Knight of Swords. Move boldly with a lot of conviction that you're doing the right thing for yourself. Figure that out and move towards it. Don't think about it twice. Don't go, should I go now? Should I do this now? Don't think about it. Move towards it is what your higher self is showing you. And by time, oh my God, you're going to be so strong and you will be moving so quickly. So you've got the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and you've got, how about we move it just a little bit up? Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords, Justice card, as well as the Six of Swords. We were just talking about the tortoise, and we were talking about slow versus fast, and you know what's the best way to show what we've been talking about but the tortoise and the hare. Who won at the end, my dear pile number one? It was the tortoise. And so your higher self is saying it's not about taking major steps that are debilitating. Take small, consistent steps and you will get there. You will create that transition with the Six of Swords. You will become that person. Small, consistent steps will give you the balance needed that you care about, that you want, to take you there. And talk about something debilitating. Do you see how all of the swords are hindering this bee from moving? And you can see the hummingbird. It kind of feels like the hummingbird is taking one sword at a time out of the wings from this Ten of Swords, right? And this really tells me there are so many things in your mind with the swords that need care. There are limiting beliefs. Maybe there are old pains. Maybe things that you don't know, right? Sometimes it's what you don't know that you don't know that could be the very thing keeping you stuck. Sometimes we don't even know what we don't know that is keeping us stuck, right? And so the only way to know what you don't know is to move slowly, realize, ooh, I didn't know that. Oh my God. Yeah, you're still stuck, but at least you're aware of it. And as you become aware of it, you start observing for solutions. You start watching others, you start listening to podcasts, you start getting feedback from the situation itself. And with the hummingbird that always knows the way, by time you will gain clarity and you will know your way around it. You will know what to do in this specific situation or challenge. So much so with that type of balance, because that's the most important thing about your guidance, is you need balance because it's so debilitating. And so the right way to do it is not to go off balance, is to do small things that keep your balance, just enough discomfort for you to bear and for you to keep your balance. Learn from it, take the pinch, and then you grow. You remove one sword after the other. One sword, that's how it's done. And you will find yourself, my dear pile number 1, being the challenge to the challenge. And remember that one day, how your higher self was showing it to you. And my dear pile number 1, ground yourself is, now I understand the earth is ground yourself. Ground yourself by taking the time to learn. Plant yourself like a tree in place. Take the time to take these nutrients so that you can blossom and grow. You need to change environments, change the way you're doing something, step outside of your comfort zone, stop regurgitating the same ideas and thinking it's not working. Start doing things outside of your comfort zone. Stay in place with the discomfort, but don't do too much where you lose your balance. And you will be removing one sword after the other. Because 10 of Swords is like, could be your mind creating so many ideas. It's not just, you're not just stuck. At this point with the 10 of Swords, your mind... your mind's is making you feel claustrophobic. It's like things are closing down on you. And if you look outside without your ideas, they may not be closing down at all. But it's such a dark place where your mind has made it so bad. And that's why you want to be careful. You want to be patient and slow with balance. And you will be moving one after the other, and after the other. And before you know it, you're squeaky clean. And I mean, in terms of mental clarity with the Ace of Swords, you're shining bright. You know what to do. Nothing is standing in your way. Your mind becomes your friend and not your enemy. And you become the challenge of the challenge. And my dear pile number 1, this is exactly what I see in your reading as your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge, a guaranteed way to overcome it. This was your reading, and if you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And my dear pile number 1, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye! Hi pile number 2, welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge. We're taking a look at a guaranteed way to overcome it. Let's see what your higher self has for you today. These are the cards that I will be using for your reading. If you're interested to know the names of any of them, you will find that I always list them down in the description box for you. Of every reading. Now, let me introduce your pile to you very quickly. Your crystal is the beautiful Tiger's Eye. Your significator card is Queen Bee. And of course, if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, the signs for this pile are Aries, Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo. Welcome to your reading, guys. If these are not your zodiac signs, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles as well. Follow your intuition, and if after the reading you feel called to watching the pile with your zodiac sign, you can always do that. Okay, so this is a tarot deck, but it contains animals and botanical pictures that really give us an in-depth perspective to the reading. So let's see what it is. You've got the 10 of Swords. Is this a bald eagle? White bald eagle? Looks like the long neck of a vulture. So we'll take a look at what the guidebook says about this one. All right, you've got the 25th I Ching hexagram with heaven and thunder, I believe. It says innocence. All right. But there is like thunder and maybe even fire here. very interesting. We'll be reading about what this says in a moment. This hexagram, 25th hexagram. You've got adventurer. All right. You've got overcoming obstacles with you can overcome anything. What are the odds that we get this in this reading? Wow, it's like your higher self truly talking to you. Here, right? You can overcome anything. You've got taking shelter. The answers are within. All right. Let's take a look at your tarot cards so we get a full perspective of maybe what your biggest challenge is, if your higher self wants to reveal it. But most importantly, your higher self's guidance on a guaranteed way to overcome it. All right. Let's see what you have. So these are the initial tarot cards that I see for you. You've got, the 3 of Cups. Right. You've got the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords here is leaving the Thunder. Do you see? All right. You've got the 2 of Cups. The 7 of Swords. The 4 of Wands. The Hanged Man. As well as the 8 of Swords. Let's stop there for a moment and grasp the energy that we're seeing. I am seeing in the Hanged Man an optical illusion. Are these 2 faces? We know this optical illusion. Are these 2 faces kissing, or is it a vase? A vase. In any case, I'm seeing something interesting. I am seeing that idea. Yes, it is an optical illusion. Your higher self is inviting you to change your perspective about something. You know why? Because vultures, they're known, and we'll read more about this specific vulture, but vultures are known to clean the ecosystem. There's something about the ecosystem. I'll tell you why. It eats all the toxicity of the earth, the toxins, the dead bodies and everything. And so you think, ew, that's disgusting. But it is the vultures that keep the system clean, right? Also, so that's like a shift in perspective here. Here, with the flowers and the bees, the flowers, because this is like a dress of a flower, and it makes me think. We look at flowers and we say, oh, they're pretty, oh, they smell nice, but nothing really would happen if the flowers didn't exist anymore. They're just a pretty thing there. What do? What, do they smell good? We're not gonna have any perfumes anymore. I'm sure we can figure something out. But actually, it is the flowers that are homes to the bees that have a huge effect on the balance of our ecosystem. It's a huge thing. The bees, obviously. So just looking at the flower at a first glance and saying, oh, it's a pretty thing, it doesn't matter. Oh no, it matters. So your higher self, I'm starting to grasp, is kind of inviting you to look at something deeper, because we can see the roots of a tree here. And so it's inviting you to look at your challenge deeper. It may look annoying, it It may look disgusting. It may look like it's what is it there for? It doesn't have a purpose, but really it is there for a very important reason. So much so that you may be surprised that it has a huge effect on the balance of your life or the balance of the situation that you are inquiring about. It has a huge role. And so with the Two of Cups, I'm seeing here first, I'm seeing it's very tempting to party, to have fun, to enjoy your life, and to run from this thunder. But your higher self is inviting you to actually work in harmony with this specific obstacle that you are inquiring about today. In fact, you're guided to work so harmoniously that you commit even more to working with that energy and not running away from that energy. Because in the moment, it's tempting to escape. It's tempting to have fun momentarily, but you will find yourself feeling stuck, feeling like you've got nowhere to go. It's your ecosystem. It is your life. It has a huge effect on your life. And so you can try to escape, but you will find yourself stuck because this obstacle at the moment in your life is meant to be worked with and not meant to run away from it. As counterintuitive as that may seem. Let's take a look at what this the Innocence card, the 25th hexagram, has to say. I'm sure we're going to get a deeper perspective towards what your higher self wants to show you. Okay, hexagram number 25. So it says pure intentions, innocence. Right. Undertake your endeavor with the innocence of the sky's thunder. Formidable, yet with neither good or evil intentions. The thunder is innocent, rolling and striking without falsity. Likewise, your endeavor should not be one undertaken out of ambition or the need for personal validation. Along your journey, you may encounter bandits. Do not change your direction. Do not resist the bandits, but do not respond to them either. Just let it be and embody innocence. It is the initiation of creative expansion, though long journeys are unfavorable at this time. In any case, what I'm seeing is this idea of not labeling things good, bad. Perhaps the obstacle that you're going through at the moment is something like everything, something that you don't like, but it seems like you have strong feelings about them. This obstacle, what is it doing anyway? Or it's disgusting, it's awful. What is that? There is an illusion about it, and there's more to the situation that you may not be seeing at the moment. And so I'm seeing your higher self saying, move along and don't focus much on the labels and see what you need to do. Continue along your way just like the thunder, with boldness. Do what is needed in this situation and explore it. Have the open-mindedness to explore this energy. When it comes to whether you are capable of overcoming this challenge or not, you do see the Arthur's sword, and so it kind of shows that your higher self is saying, oh no, not only are you able to overcome this challenge, it's kind of like if you don't overcome it, who's going to overcome it? It's like you have all that it takes, the answers are within. you have all that it takes to overcome this challenge. You just need a shift in perspective and a shift in how specifically you see this situation. I see your higher self saying the guaranteed way to overcome this obstacle is to work with it and to do what is needed without any labels and not to run from it. Yeah, so it's very clear. Your current lack of judgment to the situation, along with your need to escape it, is what is keeping you stuck in place. But it may look to you like there's no way out, but it is the not seeing. If you take the blindfold, see the situation for what it is, not judge it until you get into it and see what it can offer, will allow you to see. You're not blindfolded. You can see if you just allow it to show you the way. You're not stuck. You can always come out if you take the blindfolds off. It's all about the eyes. It's all about what you're seeing. Which makes me think, Ten of Swords, this is a difficult situation. Ten of Swords is pain. Perhaps you're running from it because it brings you a lot of pain. Which makes me think, let's take a look at this Ten of Swords. I want to take a quick peek and I'll be back. Look at what it says here. Very interesting. Their habit of circling above their final signals to all who see it, that something has died. Are there any emotions or thoughts from your recent loss that can be reframed to help you survive it? Yeah, see the idea of reframing things, reseeing, reframing things. And also very interesting about the muslin moths on the card are good examples of yin and yang. Remember when your hexagram told you not to label it as good or evil? So in any case, it says are good examples of yin and yang. Females are white while males are shades of gray. Females are active during the day while males are nocturnal. Contradiction can also be complementary, and out of chaos can emerge order. And you can see this is why your higher self is saying, don't hate it. It's all yin and yang. It's here to teach you something. It's here to show. It could be the very key taking you out of a bigger situation. So basically, until now, we're seeing a strong idea of not labeling it, not running away from it, escaping it, because yes, it is at the moment currently bringing you a lot of pain. Surprisingly, the way out of it is to work in harmony with it. That way, it will allow you to take off the blindfolds, see things for how they actually are, and you are free to come out of it, but now with strength and not pretending like you're running away from it, but really you are still there, stuck. Right, and the idea that you absolutely have everything that it takes. It's like, if you don't, who can? Because there's something about you having everything that it takes to take you out of it. You're very lucky in that aspect. Maybe many people couldn't come out of a similar situation because they didn't have the very things within them that you do. Your higher self is describing you as someone who can do it. Maybe it's about intelligence. Maybe it's about how strong of a character, how strong you are on the inside. Maybe it's about you having the capability to find opportunities. Maybe you're a bold risk taker. Something like that. Your higher self is saying, if you don't, who can come out of this situation? So you definitely can, and that probably could be an invitation not to compare yourself with others who maybe got lost in a situation like that, or couldn't take themselves out, or who are currently in a situation like that with you. Maybe they have another spiritual path. Don't compare yourself to them, and know that maybe they're stuck, but you're not going to be stuck. Okay, so let's now take a look at the rest of your cards. Wow, you've got the 10 of Cups. You've got the 5 of Pentacles. the Seven of Cups, the Page of Pentacles. You see, turning bitter lemons into lemonade, making use of the situation, turning it into your favor and not running from it. And you've got the King of Pentacles. So right off the bat, at least right here, I see. Your higher self is saying, remember when I told you that this obstacle is the key to something? And so you might label this obstacle at the moment as ew, bad. And then when you go through something, it will, by the way, give you a great advantage. Oh my God, we're going to talk about your 10 of Cups and the King of Pentacles in a moment. You can, because this is you, turn this into lemonade, delicious lemonade. Now, even then, you don't want to judge this situation, because at that point, you're going to say, oh my God, I used to hate this situation. I used to think it's awful. I used to think it's evil. But look at where it got me now. I advise everyone to go through this situation. And it might even be tempting for you to, like, since you took that risk and you've tackled it, you got that, you done something great out of it. You could be saying, oh, give it to me. Give it to me. I can do it again and again and again. But here, this reminds me of an awesome story, ancient story. I think it's a Chinese ancient story that says maybe. So the story is about how the son of, I'm going to tell you the story, but I don't remember the full details, but it's really an eye-opening one. There was once an old man who had a son and a horse, and I think the horse ran rampage and hit his son, and so his son broke his leg. And everyone, I think he lost the horse. No, let me go read it and come back, because I would rather give it to you properly. Hold on. There, I found the Chinese parable on the phone. So it goes like this. An old Chinese farmer saved up small amounts of money over a year to buy a new horse. Just a day after the farmer bought the horse, it ran away. His neighbor expressed grief, but the farmer himself was calm. I hope you can get over this bad news, said the neighbor. Good news or bad news? Can't say, replied the farmer. The next day, the horse returned to the farmer's house by itself and brought another stray horse with it. Cheer up, we're going to multiply our farm income. That's great news, said the farmer's son. Good news or bad news? Can't say, replied the farmer and carried on with his work. A week later, the farmer took the first horse to his farm, and his son took the second horse to follow his father's work. On the way, the second horse pushed the boy down and ran away. The boy's leg was fractured badly. The evening back home, the farmer's wife groaned, "We will have to spend all our extra savings on our son's broken leg. What terrible news!" Once again, the farmer replied, "Good news or bad news? Can't say." A month later, the farmer's king announced a war on the neighboring nation. Citing a lack of foot soldiers, the king ordered all able-bodied men in the nation to get drafted into the military without excuses. The farmer's son was spared because of his broken leg. Later, the inexperienced soldiers got slaughtered in war. "You are lucky that your son did not get drafted. Mine returned with severe injuries. Many have been handicapped or killed," complained the farmer's best friend. Unabashed, the farmer responded, "Good news or bad news? Can't say." So goes the story. And so I'm seeing something about your higher self continuing to let you know not to label that situation. Yin and yang, it could be very good for you now, although that's not seen. It's for you to discover as you work with it. But then when it does give you all of this happiness and maybe all of these resources or all of this wealth, as it turns you into someone who's capable of doing things just like Arthur, like someone with great power, at that point, you go and you might be tempted and go, ooh, should I use that obstacle challenge again through that? Should I go through this obstacle again? I mean, it brought so many blessings in my life. And maybe at that time, it may not be the right thing for you. So don't label this and don't label other things in your life, but especially this obstacle if you want a guaranteed way to overcome it. Don't label it, but do note that if you do decide to work with it, this specific obstacle that you're inquiring about today, one way or the other, will be able to achieve so many dreams that you have. You can see that one day you feel like you had little to go by, you had little in your hands to do, whatever this is. And today and later on, this is going to turn into overflow of happiness. You're going to feel elated. You're going to feel so happy about your life. And it will open up many opportunities to choose from. You'll be able to do, because of it, so many things that you couldn't even allow yourself maybe to envision for yourself. Maybe it's going to be so big that type of big dreams, you didn't think you can envision it. Like, think, for example, how many of us are envisioning or daydreaming, have that huge dream. For example, about buying a nice house and a lake or a little farm on Mars. Like, I'm sure somebody out there thinks about it, but it's not something that we typically think about. Even amongst us, our biggest dreamers that think outside the box and have bigger dreams than all of us, even amongst these people, I'm sure like one person, two people out of all of us, even in the spiritual world, and I could be wrong, but very little of us are like, in my future, I'm going to have a farm and a house and a beautiful place on Mars, and I'm going to raise my children there. So all I'm trying to say is that because of these obstacles, so many things are going to open up for you to choose from and to do and experience that you never even thought were an option to daydream and envision for yourself. And this is why this is such a big deal. Your higher self is showing you it's not just a guaranteed way to overcome the obstacle, this reframing, but it's also a must, because if you choose to do that, you will open many doors you're not imagining today. And you can see with the Page of Pentacles, this little boy has become a little businessman, turning these bitter lemons into delicious lemonade that everybody wants. Everyone's paying for it. And gradually grew up to be a huge businessman who's very wealthy. So it could be translated literally for you that you're going to be very wealthy. But I just don't know what the obstacle is. That's why I'm not really, maybe it's a personal issue with like a relationship issue. Maybe it's something entirely different. And so if money resonates with you in this situation, and maybe even not, who knows? Because actually with the Seven of Cups, this is talking about how it's opening up many things unrelated, many things that you weren't expecting. So who knows? And so, yeah, your higher self is definitely showing that you're going to go from feeling like you've got little to do in your hands to feeling the happiest, feeling like the world's your oyster, feeling like you're learning from this so much that you're turning it into something to your favor, that will one day give you so much abundance in your life. And what's the answer? The guidance is within you. In your pile, it's not like go out, seek information, although please do if you need to. But really, it's like just trust the process, commit to it, work with it, and you will find that you are capable of working with this energy. The more you stop labeling it as bad, horrible, disgusting, waste of time, maybe nothing important, the more you will see that it's actually giving in your life so much. I think this part of the reading is clear now. So let's continue on your guidance from your higher self. Should we turn on the light? That's much better. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of your cards regarding your guidance. You've got the 3 of Swords, and look at that glue, right? As well as the 9 of Wands, and oh my God, you won't believe this. Remember when I told you your higher self is telling you, if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? Do you see? On the sticky note, it says, you can do it. Although it feels overwhelming, and it seems like I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of pain here. One of the reasons you may be running from this. Yes, we did actually conclude that before, that you're in a lot of pain. Is the 10 of Swords. So yes, your higher self now wants to show you something about how you're feeling. Not just how you're labeling it and how you're seeing it, but how you're feeling. With the 3 of Cups and the 9 of Wands, your pain is causing a lot of heaviness on your chest. And while your pain is valid, remember that there is time for you to release that pain, and there is time for you to focus on what you need to do. Because look at this girl, looking at all of the paper, as if the workload wasn't enough. How she's feeling about it is making it impossible to tackle this. And that's why you have a note of you can do it, because change of emotions changes actions. And so there's the same workload with someone who's motivated, who feels good, who's pumped up, who's excited, who's happy about life. We'll just sit down and we'll say, let's get it done. Bring me this pile. Dang, 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 and gets it done. Someone who's feeling heavy and sad, and someone who's feeling that heaviness so much that they can barely breathe or carry themselves. How are they going to start tackling all of this? So how we feel, or how you feel when you're tackling this obstacle, matters like day and night. And so your higher self is saying it's okay to cry it. In fact, releasing is healing. And you can see this figure is putting the pieces back together. Respect your pain and cry. You don't have to cry, but I mean, release it. Let it out. When it's time to feel bad about it, to release the hurt and the pain, go ahead, release that pain. But when it's time to tackle this obstacle, don't carry that pain with you as you work. It is time to shift your focus. You can't just push sadness out, but you don't give it your attention either. Remember that line in your hexagram of you don't have to react to the bandit, but don't react to it either, to them either. Do not change your direction. See? Along your journey, you may encounter bandits. Do not change your direction. Do not resist the bandits, but do not respond to them either. So it's kind of like, when it's time to tackle, put your mindset towards the tackling. Are the sad and painful feelings there? Yes, of course, but don't respond to them. Let them be there. by time they will, that is a form of releasing on its own. So let it be there. Don't push it. Don't push this sadness, but don't engage with it either. Like, don't think about the situation, making it harder for you during that time. Try to put your focus on the situation. When you put your focus on a specific situation, the rest naturally dissipates in that moment. That reminds me of my gym teacher when I was a little girl, and we were doing stretching exercises, and I would hold my leg and I would fall off and she would help me by saying, Reem, focus on a point on the floor. Pick a point, pick a drawing, pick something, and focus your eye there. You will never fall. And it's a trick that I do until today. If I feel out of balance and I want to stay in place, I always pick something to put all of my attention looking at. And I find my balance. And I stay in place. And so it's the same thing. When you're doing and focusing on a task, don't shift your mind between that task or that obstacle or whatever this is. When you're in the moment engaging with it, don't go back and forth thinking about how you feel, how it's painful, and then back to the situation, back and forth. How you feel is valid, and let it be how it wants to be. In that moment, focus on what you're doing. This is another form of releasing the pain. It will release and dissipate, and you will find yourself like a horse. Nothing can stop you. Dang, 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 dang. Gallop, 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 gallop. And you will, before you know it, turn this bitter situation into something delicious that you will enjoy, maybe even for the rest of your life. So, my dear pile number 2, do not label the situation. Don't run from it. You're not stuck. Just shift your perspective and work with it. It's not bad. It's not good. Just let it show you what it wants to show you. And remember, if you don't do it, who can do it, my friend? This was your reading, my dear pile number 2. I truly hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And my dear pile number 2, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Today, we're taking a look at your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge. Specifically, a guaranteed way to overcome it is what we're focusing on today. So these are the decks that I will be using in your reading. If you're interested in knowing the names of any of them, you'll find that I always list them down in the description box for you guys. And very quickly, let me introduce your pile to you. Your crystal is the beautiful Moonstone. Your significator card is the White Rose of Hope. And of course, if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, whoa, 2. Okay, thank you. In that case, the signs for this pile are Sagittarius, Taurus, Cancer, and Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. If these are not your zodiac signs, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles as well. Follow your intuition, and if after the reading you also feel called to watching the pile that has your zodiac sign, you can always do that. Okay, so let's check out your oracle cards first. Although this is a tarot card, but it also has animals and botanical pictures in it that can really give us a good perspective on your reading. So yeah, let's check out your oracle cards. You've got Navigating by the Stars. Oh my God. It says, follow your bliss. And that's absolutely what I'm seeing in your significator card. It feels like you are navigating in the dark. You really can't see ahead. You don't know what to do. But you've got a bliss. You've got something that you're very fortunate to have. Maybe you're not paying much attention to it, but it's the way out. It's going to guide you out of this darkness, and it's going to be your biggest source of hope and bliss at this phase of your life. So that's the first thing we can absolutely see in your cards when it comes to your biggest challenge and the guaranteed way to overcome it. Of course, this is at a glance, but definitely a strong idea that we're seeing already. You've got the daughter is the, I think, page of swords. The page of swords, yes, okay. You've got athlete. And you've got activist. All right, freeing yourself from something. Speaking up, freeing yourself. There's a lot of blue. It could be throat chakra. Let's find out more. Whoa, did you get 3 cards from these? I'm gonna read this one, and I'm gonna take the keywords only out of these 2. Okay, so let's see what we have. You've got influence, and this is mountain, and this is, I've been forgetting them recently. I'll see what this is in a moment. So you've got the 31st hexagram with influence. You've got the 7th hexagram, earth, and yeah, with the 7th hexagram with army. And you've got the 59th hexagram with dispersing. Army, dispersing, and influence. Okay, let's now take a look at your tarot cards. This way we get a full picture of your higher self's guidance on your biggest challenge, a guaranteed way to overcome it. I also finally feel this one. All right, let's check out your tarot cards. You've got, whoa, right off the bat, wow, the 6 of Wands. That is significant as the very first card. Okay, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Creating a reality, creating the reality that you dream of for yourself. And you've got the 4 of Pentacles. You've got the 5 of Wands. And the Page of Wands. As well as, no, we don't have any more space unless we try to create more space. Why not? We can fit in one more card, I believe. You've got this one sliding out. The 8 of Cups. It's fitting that they come together. So, what are we seeing? I'm starting to have a slightly different idea than what I initially thought. I think the light here is knowledge, and I say that because of the Page of Swords. The knowledge, seeking knowledge is the Page of Swords. Seeking knowledge, seeking information will be your way out, because in this pile, with all of the darkness here, you're really oblivious. This is a pile who's going through a situation where they can't see ahead. They genuinely don't know what's going to happen, what's up ahead, how to deal with this, no idea. And so the first thing we're seeing is that seek guidance. You want to get information. In this pile, it's not just depending on what you think about it, but there's more knowledge to be sought after. here. And despite all of the darkness, I do see that you will be free. In fact, the first card here is the Six of Wands. Your higher self is saying you will come out of it. I know it may look very hard now or hard to believe that you will come out of this difficulty, but you will. If it's the first card, it's like an insistence, a confirmation, a strong confirmation. First thing your higher self wants to say is you will come out of this obstacle and you will be living what you are wishing for with the Queen of Pentacles. But here is your guaranteed way to overcome it. There is something about a little bit of an energy may not make a huge difference. In fact, you've got dispersing here. Right. A little bit of an energy might not make a big difference. Like dropping a blue colored or pink colored dot into the sea is not going to turn the color of the sea pink. But many of that little thing, even if it's little, many of it makes a huge difference. And you can see it here in the athlete. I always say this with this card. You look in awe and respect and how this person is strong physically and not just emotionally, and did not let their unfortunate situation stop them in any way. They're having fun. They're playing. What is this? This is not basketball. This is football. No, it's basketball. They're playing. They're having the time of their lives. Nothing is standing in their way. And so maybe it felt debilitating in the beginning to do all these fun things, but this person accepted the situation and decided to work with it, decided to make an effort every single day until they are where they are today. An impressive person who knows how to live the best of their lives. Nothing is keeping them stuck at all. They're a free person and it doesn't matter anymore as it used to. And so freedom here, it's the same with activism. Only one person talking about something, yes, eventually and it's the same concept. If they continue to talk about it, little by little, people will start gathering around them. But I'm trying to say that one person may not always succeed in doing something, but a group of people, army, activists, are able to make a difference. Or continuously talking about something, influence. That's the point. The many of something, it seems, in your reading can influence your ability to do something. So many of something, that's the first clue we're getting from your higher self. Many small things, whatever small thing you have, many of it will make a difference. 1. 2, I can't remember what this bird is called. I'll check it for you in a moment. I'll definitely check its name in a moment. But what I remember, the interesting thing I read about this bird in the Page of Swords is something something that caught my attention and it made me eek when I read it. It's about how these types of birds, when the parents fly off to get the food for their children and they fly to their nest, they don't go directly to their nest. They first hide nearby the nest to check if there is danger around the nest. And then when the danger is out, they come to the nest and feed the rest of their children that are alive. What? My heart sank. I cringed, tore apart, hurt. When I read about this, it hurt me to even imagine it. But we're not questioning what nature does. But seeing it in your reading, I'm seeing the idea of fear. How there is a specific type of fear to the point where it's debilitating. There is strong fear in this situation that you're inquiring about, your biggest obstacle. And it's okay to have this fear. I mean, even nature has this fear. Don't judge yourself ever for it. We all have a fear somewhere or the other that debilitates us. So in this specific obstacle, there seems to be a strong fear. And that's probably why it's so dark here. You genuinely don't know what to do. And you are aware of how this fear is preventing you from being free, from taking the actions that you need, and most importantly, from the losses, the type of losses that are heart-aching to you, that you lose following that fear. And so it seems like you're holding on to your energy, holding off from even approaching something or coming near something to avoid conflict, to avoid struggle with the Five of Wands. Conflict, yeah, to avoid conflict. Absolutely, to avoid conflict. Although, if you face it with the Page of Wands, you will be able to walk away from this situation and not have to deal with the difficulty. You'll be free. You won't have to deal with the difficulty pertaining to it. Perhaps with all of the blues and the microphone in your reading, I would say it has to do something with the throat chakra. To talk, even the gown here is all blue. You achieve what you want through the throat chakra, through speaking up. And so putting this idea, so what is the white rose? Is it knowledge? Is it a bliss? Is it using your throat? We'll find out. I keep going, changing ideas, but we'll figure it out in a moment. So the first idea, so we've got the throat chakra, we've got debilitating fear about this specific situation, and we've got how the idea of how dispersing the energy and not focusing the energy can weaken the situation, whereas little things in large amounts makes a huge difference. Let's now put it together. You don't have to approach your fear head on, because this may be hard at the beginning. But taking tiny actions over and over and over and over and over and over and over towards your feel will strengthen your muscle and will give you a voice to speak up, and will give you the voice to speak up to liberate yourself from this obstacle. I have no idea what this obstacle is about, but it definitely, your freedom here lies in first training yourself on approaching this fear. Tiny, you don't need to take huge efforts. You are only required, and that's the guaranteed way of winning, facing that fear in a tiny way, diluted way, every single day or every single time for a prolonged while, and you will feel like your muscle is strengthening and you're not really that afraid of this challenge anymore. Your muscle will be growing and you will feel confident in this situation. That is leading to you activating your throat chakra. Perhaps it'll give you an advantage. It will give you a strong form of power that neither you or maybe the people around you are seeing at the moment. And as you strengthen that muscle and see your own strengths while maybe others see it, you'll be able to speak up and say everything that you want to say. I know what the rose is. The rose in Roman times, when they would say suda rosa, it was a rose that they hanged in meetings. And if anyone stood under this rose, it meant that they had to say the truth, to speak their truth. That is the light. And so you will be able to free yourself and speak your truth if you approach this fear with tiny diluted steps. You must come near it in a tiny way every day. And the more you do it, the more you become an army of a sort, your past experiences. And they help you, and they culminate into great experience, into great power, into muscle building, into new character, into boldness. And this will allow you to speak your truth, say what you want. It's the Page of Swords. Say what you want, and in that case, live the reality that you want. You will be able to face the very challenge, the very struggle, the very conflict that you may be afraid to face for a long time with that type of training. And you will be free with the Eight of Cups. You will be able to walk away and not worry ever energetically about this conflict ever again. You free yourself with your throat chakra because you're no longer feeling weak in that situation. And so, although now you're holding off your effort, you're not required by, advised by your higher self to jump into danger, but you're required to learn about this danger. And that is through coming near it every day, touching, giving a little touch from afar, looking from the side, coming near it every day, and consistent action becomes an army that gives you that power. And that will be your bliss out of this situation, because you're releasing along with it a type of debilitating fear that will never stand in your way again. So let's take a look at the rest of your cards. Actually, before we take a look at the rest of your cards, I feel there is definitely guidance in your card that we intended to read, the influence card. So let me bring out the I Ching hexagram book and take a look at the 31st hexagram and see what it's saying. So, influence, attraction, chemistry. It says, receive others with humility and non-judgment. Let the people move you, and you will move the people. Reciprocal attraction. Mutual influence. Young lovers are joyous and prosperous. It is auspicious for you to proceed with your endeavor. Change is coming, though no one seems to sense it. The beginnings of movement, an idea begins to surface. So it's the beginning of something. It's the beginning of your movement towards your freedom. However, whether the influence will have an impact remains to be seen. It is still too early to tell. So as per your reading, if the influence will have an impact remains on you, on the type of little jolts of action that you take every day to face this fear. And so if you train yourself to approach it tiny bit every day, you will be successful. But whether you do that or not, it's up to you. Whether you get there or not is up to you. But if you do, you're absolutely capable of winning and getting there. My dear pile number 3. Very interesting. Let's take a look at the rest of your cards and the rest of your guidance. You've got the Judgment card. The Hanged Man. the Two of Cups. For some of you, this debilitating fear could be judgment. It doesn't have to be, but it could be. Or you judging yourself some way. Or your fear of being judged in some way. It's there. You've got the Two of Cups. Maybe it's something you want to reflect on, being judged. Maybe it's something you're not aware of. The Nine of Swords. It's like a fear that keeps you up at night. It makes you envision all the bad scenarios that could happen and how you can be sacrificed with the Lamb here. You're really afraid of this, my dear pile number 3. I'm so sorry about that. Don't worry. You're going to make it out. That's what your higher self is telling you. You are a winner and you're going to make it out. You've got the Five of Pentacles. Can I pull out one more card? I can. You've got the World card. Great. I felt it. Okay. So yes, I'm gonna follow the Judgment with all the swords. It's your thoughts. There seems to be a fear about being misjudged or judged, or maybe even self-judgment for some of you. And it is, I think that's it. Afraid of being judged, because look at how the angels are holding the feet. It's, in my opinion, this is talking about how that type of fear is so strong that it prevents you from moving. And that's why you have the Hanged Man. Do you see the hands on the legs? It prevents you from moving. It's so strong. It prevents you from moving, and it's keeping you stuck in place. It's keeping you hanging there in your place. It keeps you at night thinking. Part of you is loving and admiring the other side where you're not at yet, and the other half of you, like part of you, wants to achieve these dreams, wants to be free, wants to enjoy the things beyond this fear, but the other part of you is so afraid of being sacrificed, so afraid of being sacrificed, crucified, hurt by this situation. And it's, look at that, it's quite debilitating to the point of the Five of Pentacles, of you this choosing the lack over the lack of what you want, over and ending things, over receiving what you deserve, getting what you love. And so the Hanged Man is inviting us to turn the reading upside down and get a different message on the solution. Crazy, but follow up with me, guys. Hold on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this and get your answer. Unstuck yourself, where you reverse the energy. Let's see now the solution that your higher self wants to show you. There we go. Now, let's read the reversal and see what your guidance here is. And let's remove the blue, the throat chakra, from the throat chakra and see what we're getting. The World card, as we know, is a card of completion. In reverse, it's stagnation, of course, right? And so with stagnation, one starts to seek external happiness because they're not getting anything from their situation. And so the focus tends to begin on external happiness. And that leads to wish fulfillment, which leads to even more stagnation. And the interesting thing is that the other end of the reading is the Judgment card. And that is inner critic, right? In reverse, inner critic, judging yourself. And so the guidance here is releasing the inner critic, like being kinder to yourself in this situation. You might not be judgmental towards yourself, by the way, in all areas of your life. But when it comes to that obstacle, you could be brutal without even realizing. Maybe you've already decided, put a label on yourself, or decided that you can't do things, or decided something, an inner judgment, like you say, I can't do that. I'm not good at this. I definitely can't do that. So speaking kinder to yourself and not seeking, if you're not, by the way, kind to yourself, you will always fall a victim to how people are judging you from the outside, because now they have a wound that they can press on. When you are kind to yourself, no matter how many people judge you on the outside, it doesn't matter. You don't speak to yourself this way. And so in this situation, you're guided to release your inner criticism towards yourself first. Put your mask on first. And speak kindly to that voice. Is it telling you, I can't do it? Say, well, it's okay. Maybe we can't do it now. That's okay. What can we do to improve a little bit? We can't do it now, but we're definitely going to be doing it later. We're taking step by step. It doesn't work. That's a failure. That's okay. It's a failure now, but it doesn't mean that we're going to fail. And it's okay to fall 1,000,000 times. I'm with you, me. Let's fall 1,000,000 times until we get it. And speaking to yourself kindly releases that inner critic. It changes the voice you hear inside. And when you release that voice, nobody can affect you ever again in that area with their judgment. It doesn't matter, because you don't speak to yourself this way. And so when you release that inner judgment, you stand on your own 2 feet. You're not sacrificed. You're not in an uncomfortable situation. And that could mean, by the way, awkward. You're not awkward anymore. You're standing strong. And that, now, my friend, removes your focus from external happiness to internal happiness, fulfilling yourself. That releases the lack, fulfillment again. That releases that conviction that there is something debilitating that you can't do. Now you feel fulfilled. Now you're not scared. And now you have self-love, my dear pile number 3. And that is your guaranteed way to overcoming that debilitating fear and open up your throat chakra to speak. And it begins with, so now that we know it's right there, the inner critic and speaking to yourself kindly. So we've got 4 more cards in that specific area. Let's explore it together. You've got the 5 of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune. So cool. You've got the High Priestess, and you've got the Star card. Guys, it's so clear. The 5 of Swords is a card of either winning or losing. So here's the thing. It's either this voice that's going to win over you, or you are going to win over that voice. It's one voice or the other in your mind. And it's your voice that's going to win if you see throat chakra. If you keep repeating the kindness to yourself. Don't push away the negative voices, but replace it calmly with a kinder voice. It's okay, we can do it. Always reassure yourself with solutions and reflection on something better. And reassure yourself that you're going to be there. Reassure yourself that it's okay. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to your own child if you were to give them confidence in this situation. And you can see the wheels and the cycle is changing here. The way you're speaking to yourself changes the inner cycle. Where? In your mind with the high priestess, because the high priestess with the moon is associated also with the subconscious mind. So you are able in this manner, when you speak to yourself kindly, to reverse the voice coming from your subconscious mind. Rewiring, relearning how to speak to yourself in this particular situation. Star card, that's the healing card. It's a major arcana. It's a major thing that you are going to heal in your life. And that, my dear pile number 3, is your guaranteed way to overcome that obstacle, the biggest challenge in your life at the moment. This was your reading. I truly hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. I wish you the best with every bit of my heart. You got this. You're called a winner by your higher self. You got this, pile number 3. You got this. And I'll catch you in the next reading.